Black families are homeschooling at levels higher than ever before. Recently, we interviewed homeschooling parents, grads, and family members about homeschooling with the help of Remake Learning's Shifting Powers Research Project. Here's what they said.
Hi, we are the Walker family. My name is Leah Walker, and I am 46 years old. Who makes up our homeschool family? We have myself, Mom. Chase is 14 years old. Mark is 10 years old, and Matthew is 10 years old. So we have twins. I got into homeschooling by accident, actually. The reason why I initially decided to homeschool is because I have a daughter who is now 16, and she was going to public school and she was being bullied by a group of her peers that she thought were her friends. And she did not handle it very well. She had a suicide attempt. And I began to try to work with the school at the time, and I brought therapists in. We had all these meetings and we did all these things, and the school was supposed to work with us on, making things right, making her feel more comfortable, implementing plans, and none of that happened. The following year, she was placed back in the classroom with the same child and children. So at that point, I decided it would be best if we would remove her from the school. And it was a tough decision. We tried cyber school first, and that did not work at all. So that's what kind of sparked my interest in homeschooling. I joined a lot of cyber school groups when she was doing cyber school. And when you join these groups, you find out about homeschooling. They're homeschool/cyber school groups. So I began to research homeschooling. I thought it was something I might be able to do, and we went for it. That was our initial introduction into homeschooling. I think our household differs from other homeschooling families in a few ways. We're not traditional homeschoolers. Our home is not really set up like a classroom. We do school at the kitchen table, on the couch, on the porch, wherever we feel like it. The world is our classroom, and we often don't use a lot of textbooks. We like to use living books. We like to go outside. We like to go on as many outside things as we can when the world's open. And we're pretty laid back. I like for the children to find things that they're interested in, and then I will kind of tailor what they want to learn and what they want to do around that. And we also work on ourselves a lot in our homeschool. Character is big for us. How to treat people and how not to treat people is a big part of our daily homeschool routine. So how many make up our homeschool right now? That depends on the day. No, actually, I have 4 minor children. My daughter, Sela, that I initially began our homeschooling journey with, right now is attending a therapeutic program outside of the home. So I am no longer homeschooling her. She found a program that she is thriving in. So she is on her own and doing well. Chase here is doing a self-paced online curriculum that's actually through the district. He's not he doesn't go into the building. He's still at home. He does their self-paced curriculum along with some things that I may throw in here or there, depending on what's going on in the world. So we'll do that. And then we have Mark and Matthew, who I am fully immersed in homeschooling. Every day, all year round, we homeschool. A typical homeschool day in the Walker household. It's never typical. Nothing is ever the same. We tried to stick to a routine, and for the most part, there are some things that we do every day, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So we typically wake up, and Matthew loves to eat breakfast very early. What time do you like to eat breakfast? Can you tell them?
6.
So Matthew would prefer to wake up and have breakfast at 6. I decided that I think 7:30 is a better time to eat breakfast. So we have been pushing it to 7:30. After breakfast, we have like a calm down time where they can go off on their own. They are allowed to play, decompress, read, jump around, go outside, walk the dog, all of those things. And then usually by 9, we will get started on our day. And that can be anything from learning apps on the computer, reading, Lego challenges, whatever we find interesting like during that day. Then at some point in the morning, we will come to the table. Sometimes we play cards. Sometimes we do work that we find that's interesting. And sometimes we go places and enjoy outside. Do you feel that that's pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
What do you think our day is like?
Same day every day.
You think it's the same day every day?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
It's good.
It's good. Do you have any comments?
No.
Okay. How long did it take me to feel content in our homeschool day? Or how long did it take me to feel like we are finally in the groove and I'm kind of doing this right? There are days when I still don't know what I'm doing. So, and this is year 4. I think this is year 4 for us. So I'm content with what they are learning, the pace that they are going, and the things that we accomplished. So it took me maybe about 2.5 years to finally feel like, okay, so they may not be where their peers are. They may be above, a little below, whatever. It doesn't really matter in homeschool though. Doesn't matter at all. So I'm pretty happy now. I'm pretty content. That's a good question for you. Can you show Avery like when the work is really, really tough and it's frustrating, what do you do to keep going?
Ask for help.
You ask for help and then you pull out your friend,
Avery.
Avery. That's Avery. And what does Avery do?
She helps me.
She helps you. What about you? What do you do when you feel like this work is hard? I'm so sick and tired of homeschooling. I don't want to do it anymore. Or do you ever feel that way? I don't know.
I don't feel that way. School, math, and other stuff is just fun.
Yay! What about you? How do you feel that? What do you do when the work is hard, or you
when
just
the
don't
work
wanna
is
do it?
hard, I just go back to some of what I was doing before, just to get a little bit more information from it, so I can go back to it and then answer the questions.
You think it's okay to take a break at all?
Yes.
I do too. And sometimes a break is like a full day or 2, and I think that's fine. That's the beauty of learning from home. Do you feel different being homeschooled?
It's definitely better than school.
Really? Do you feel that way? Okay. Do you have something that you wanted to say?
It does feel better than regular school, so you're not just in the classroom for like 8 hours.
So does it make you like feel like you want to learn a little bit more
Yes.
because you don't have to sit there for 8 hours and
Yes.
you can pick stuff to learn about?
Yes.
Well, I'll say for myself, what I see an improved sense of self-confidence in these children that wasn't necessarily present when we began. I think for Matthew, when he was in public school, I think that he experienced a level of trauma. I just think that he wasn't ready for school. And because we have these guidelines and expect they have to be in school by a certain time, I just honestly feel like he just wasn't ready to go to school, but he had to go. And he just had a really tough time. But since we've been homeschooling, I see that his confidence is growing slowly. He feels like it's okay if he gets answers wrong or if he doesn't know something. I see him being more curious and, wanting to learn stuff as opposed to retreating. And I see Mark as being an amazing self-starter. I typically don't have to tell him to get started or to go get a book. He does all those things on his own, and he's naturally inquisitive. For me, it has taught me continued patience. I could still use more, I'm sure, but it has taught me a lot of patience. It's taught me to give myself a huge amount of grace. You can look around you at other homeschool families and get down on yourself and feel like we are not doing the same things. Our experience is different, but it's supposed to be different because it's your journey. So those are some of the things that I feel that, we've learned and that we've accepted as a family. I think that homeschool has changed the relationship between the children for the better. I feel like that they have always been pretty close, but I know that there comes a time often in the life of siblings where they drift apart and they're always fighting and they absolutely hate each other. We haven't really experienced that since homeschooling. They still enjoy spending time with each other. They do argue at times, but it's nothing that's absolutely horrible. They are very supportive of one another. They are very helpful to one another. I noticed that if one of them is having a hard time with a lesson or anything, the other person is usually really, really excited to step in and help out and just be there. So I'm really pleased that they're, still wanting to be siblings. They still want to be brothers. And they still want to hang out with each other. And even Chase enjoys, for the most part, hanging out with the twins. Even though they're younger than he is, he still enjoys it. Maybe enjoys bossing them around sometimes still a little bit. I don't know. Some of the tools that we use in our homeschool, it's a wide range. One of my favorite tools is the library. I love the library. When we first started homeschooling, I didn't use it, enough. I went out and spent an insane amount of money on curriculum and supplies and fancy printers and all of these things that we don't even really use now, and they did not like. It wasn't until we started utilizing the public library's homeschool classes, their wide range of books on everything, that's when I started finding my groove. Because it was like, oh, you want to learn about what? Let's go to the library and just tell the librarian. And they would just get everything together for us. I'd be like, the kids want to learn about mummies. Can you help us out? And she'd be like, oh yeah. And we look and there's like 20 books on mummies. So that's one of my favorite tools. I love free websites. And free apps. Since the beginning of spending all that money on homeschooling, I decided I don't want to spend one thin dime if I can help it. That's my goal, is to always spend $0 in our homeschool, aside from excursions and field trips. And to me, field trips are actually tools. When we can go and do field trips, that enhances our learning. So I love going on field trips. We went to one to Bushy Run Battlefield before the pandemic, and it was super fun and fantastic. So I like that. And we utilize, when we can, when we have them and people have time, our homeschool friends and all of the homeschool happenings in the Pittsburgh area, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the homeschool community. Some's more hidden than others due to certain things. But What are some of the stereotypes and misconceptions about homeschoolers and homeschool families? One of the stereotypes is that there are no Black people who homeschool. That is absolutely false. We found that out pretty quickly as we started to homeschool and get out and about more. We noticed lots of brown families doing their thing in homeschooling. Another misconception is that people just teach about Jesus all day in homeschool, and that homeschool families are ultra super religious. That can be true, but it is not always true. Another one is that homeschool children are not social and they are weird. I think that when you have children in the public school, they are oftentimes discouraged in socializing. I know my daughter was, and I know that they were. And since they've been homeschooling, we can be social. You can talk to people. They like to have interactions with people who are, in their peer group, older, younger, it doesn't matter. So I think that's a misconception. We don't sit in the house and just stay in there all day and learn. We go outside, we meet people, we do things, we have fun. Those are some of the big stereotypes that I hear people ask all the time. And the other one is when I tell people that I'm homeschooling, they first always say, what curriculum do you use? And so for the longest time, I didn't know how to answer that. And it wasn't because we were actually using curriculum at that point. But if you meet someone just at a random Walmart and they say, what curriculum do you use? If you say Master Books or Eureka or whatever, are they even going to know what that is? And so my question now when people say that is, what curriculum do they use at your child's school? And I get the blank stare because they don't know. So for us, the world is our curriculum. That's it. That's what we use, the world, every day. So those are the things that are stereotypes.
I think homeschooling is better because there's no one just to talk about your shoes or your mom there.
That's very important. That's a very, very good point. What do you think about public school versus homeschool?
Well, regular school, I hated it because we had to do 8 hours of school.
Well, 7.
Yeah.
After school.
Oh, no. We would have an hour after school.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or 2 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
So it was too long. Did you like your teachers?
I did. Most of them were mean.
What about your homeschool teacher?
To you.
Mm-hmm. So the teachers at public school were mean, but what about your homeschool teacher?
You're nice.
You're nice.
What are your thoughts about regular school versus homeschool?
I think homeschool is better than school.
Can you tell us why? What didn't you like about school?
It's because people were acting weird at school.
They were acting rude at school. Did you have many friends? Did you make a lot of friends?
Yes.
You did? You made a lot of friends? That's a pretty good one. So that might be something that you did like. What about the teachers? Did you like your teachers at school?
I didn't.
No, you did not.
Because this one teacher followed me all the way up to 4th grade. And she was weird.
Every year. It was pretty bad. And for me, my thoughts are, I think that public schools, particularly in the Pittsburgh and surrounding areas, have a lot of work to do, especially when it comes to our Black and brown children. I still see that they are being punished at higher rates I don't see that they are thriving as much as their counterparts. I don't feel that when your children have special needs and have, they need certain accommodations, I feel that there are some schools who go above and beyond, and there are others who miss the mark entirely. And that's kind of where we were at. And so since they've been homeschooled, I've been able to really work with them on their level and not have to force them to move along with the class just because that's what should happen. If we need to revisit a subject or if we need more time on something, then that's what we do. And we don't feel pressure to be at a certain level or place. So I think that for our family, we will definitely continue to homeschool. I love it. I'm not ready to stop. The kids are still given the green light, so we're going to continue.
Last question. What is some advice or wisdom that you would like to give new and prospective homeschoolers?
Oh, all the advice. What is some advice I would like to give to new homeschooling families? Particularly, what is it?
It's hard at first, but then it gets easier.
I like that. So would you encourage them to stick with it?
Yes.
And keep trying? What would you tell a kid that is like, my mom said we're going to start homeschooling now? Give me some advice. What's it going to be like?
You should read books about pets, animals, and science.
Okay. Do you have any advice for a child that is going to be homeschooling? What would you tell them about homeschooling?
It's fun.
It's fun. I would say to the mom, take breaks. Take a step back. You are not a failure. No matter how bad the day seems, tomorrow is a new day. Please give yourself some grace. You do not have to go and set up your house like a school with maps on the wall and a whiteboard or a chalkboard if that's not what your kids want. What we want is not often what they need. And I had to learn that. I wanted to teach all these things and have this routine. And I was conditioned to believe that that is how they would learn the best. And that is absolutely not what happened. They hated every minute of my naps and my schedules and my daily schedule papers. That's not what made them feel comfortable. And that is not what made them want to keep homeschooling. So give yourself a break. Don't be afraid to stop and toss something out that is not working. If you choose a curriculum or whatever and you think it's going to be great and your kids is like, no, it sucks, stop it. Let it go. Find something else. And don't make the mistake I did and overspend. There are amazing free resources and there are people who have resources that can help you. I tap into my network when there's something that I am looking for or a need that I don't have. And usually in the homeschool community, somebody has it and will be willing to share or impart their wisdom for you. So you do not have to spend $1 million in order to effectively homeschool your children. Those are my little pearls of wisdom. Oh, take breaks and remember self-care for the mom. You can take mental health days. Take them often.
Got more questions about homeschooling? Want to hear more from Black homeschoolers? Visit blackhomeschoolquestions.com.